Hi, thanks for joining us. We had a question come in why is it that so many people nowadays, seemingly more and more, are beginning to have like overwhelming anxiety, mental illness, neuroses, stress, different disorders, and even physical ailments and conditions that are preventing people from truly enjoying life and living a healthy and vibrant life. And also I wanted to express that in these videos, this is us sharing our perspectives, some of our truth based on our own experiences, due to the work and explorations that we've done. And yeah, we make these videos in support of you, in support of our collective evolution. So take what resonates and leave the rest. Yeah, Saoirse. Take it away.
So from my perspective and from my studies and from people I work and stuff with like that. So first, a caveat, there is serious mental illness out there. So please go to a doctor if you've got serious things, because there are certain people who do need medication to help them with this journey. And sometimes we need medication for a pause to breathe. But and
a good therapist it can be very, very valuable.
Yeah.
One that you find that really resonates you and that can really support you.
It's about, and see, that leads right into it. A lot of this is about lack of support. Why we have high anxiety is because we weren't supported as children. We're not supported in what we're doing. We are also out of complete alignment with what, for lack of better words, our soul calling is, or our purpose, or any of our journey. I'd almost say 99% of the population isn't doing what they came here to do. They're plugging into the illusion of a job, pay the bills, the golden handcuff issue. And at this point, we're seeing very clearly what that's created. It's created a devastated planet and a devastated community and a devastated people all over the world. And the planet itself is going through high anxiety because she's coming to the end of putting up with our shit. And so we're also picking up on that vibration because we're all vibrating. And so we're frequency, we're energy, all of that good stuff. So we're picking up on a combination of our soul not being where it knows it should be, and not experiencing or even coming close to what we came here to experience, because we've let a lot of bullshit stuff get in our way. And then there's also the planet under massive distress, and we're picking up all on those vibrations.
Yeah, for me, it's like it's coming to realize what our true nature is. And for me, that's one of wanting joy, of creativity and of expression, and curiosity, and nurturing each other, and co-creating, and an exploration. And when I think about it, we're designed to be moving. We're designed to get sunshine and walk on the grass with our bare feet, hopefully as regularly as possible. And when one is so disconnected from that, especially if you're working for, say, a major corporation in a big office building, cubicles where everyone around you is going through the similar stress and everyone has different levels of sensitivities, we're going to pick up on that. For me, it's so much of it is energy cultivation. It's like, if we're so busy in the day that we don't even have time to allow ourselves to just relax on a mental level, of course mental illness is going to build. And if we're going about it with these ingrained conditioning and ideas of what is worth our time and that we need to keep producing, it is going to cause a disconnect, because if we're all living in the mind, then our hearts and our bodies get no support, and therefore it creates a lot of anxiety and stress and neuroses. And when it comes to neuroses, just me, based on my Chinese Asian upbringing, I was conditioned to always play it safe, to always be proper, to always adhere to rules, to authority, to conformity, and therefore I was conditioned. I developed tons of neuroses because I was trying to play it safe and be right and in everyone's eyes. And when I was doing that, then I was never being my true self. And I feel many of us never had the safe space to explore what that true self, that true nature is. And that's always going to be a discovery process. Everyone has the opportunity to discover that, but they need safe space is needed, exploratory space, joyful space, nurturing space, creative outlets are needed for that, including good foods. Like for me, if I think about someone putting into their bodies just processed foods, unhealthy foods, junk foods, low quality foods, and then watching low quality energies, listening to low quality energies. And that's what the structures want to keep creating, because it's like they work in tandem. Some aspects of the structure, the system, empire, create energies that create addictions in us, and then so that we can rely on the pharmaceutical Western medical system that just pumps us full of more synthetic drugs and band-aids, and then we're depressed, so we need to feed on alcohol or sugar or junk in order to feel some kind of aliveness, and then the cycle just goes on and on until your body just cannot handle it anymore, and there's just no room for your soul or your true nature to be present. And that's one of joy and peace, tranquility. And it's just a step-by-step thing. It's like you look at the state of the world and how desperate things have become, because the people in power just want more and more power and money, and therefore they're slowly making it harder and harder, and just seeping all the power from all of us people, especially those that are the normal people, if you will, the masses. So it's just creating this unlivable society for our true joys and our heart energy in so many ways. And therefore, yes, there is going to be anxiety and neuroses and mental illness, because we're not allowing ourselves to perceive ourselves and think for ourselves, and then choose to do the things that help really to support our health and well-being and vibrancy. It's all about vibratory states. I mean, I just think about a lot of the people that are on TV that are successful. Now, after doing research and really studying it, many of them can have their own neuroses and struggles and depression. Think about all the celebrities that have left this planet, have committed suicide, yet we all thought that they were successful and happy. They must be happy, they have money. But so we're all sold this gilded cage, and we're all striving for that gilded cage, and continuously putting energies that are creating density within us. So it's this whole false notion and conditioned mentality of what life is, and for me, not living towards what we truly are, which is a holistic connection between the earth and the heavens. So, like, if you're not drinking good water and putting good healthy foods in you, and I was doing that for many years, I was in so much depression and mental illness and struggle, anxiety. I was so neurotic. But as I learned to do that, that's what has helped me to realize that's the truth for me. And I don't know how many people have had safe space or enough support to be able to choose that. So it's just allowing each of us to take a look at our choices, and also observe the people around us and the choices they're making, and what are the ramifications or the karmic effects or the consequences, if you will, of those actions. More and more, it's just beginning to think more critically.
Got it?
Yeah.
Fabulous. I have nothing else to add to that, because that's brilliant. Other than putting it in my own words, that there's a lot of bullshit going on, and you've got to wade through the bullshit, and that's part of what you're picking up on, is the lies. The anxiety comes from living too far in the future. Depression comes from living too far in the past, and it's living in those lies that is where we're disconnected. And it's all about reconnecting to self. And once you can reconnect to yourself, you have no need for the low vibing senses. And so when you're in anxiety, it's showing you're out of alignment. You're 100% out of alignment with what you are here to be. And that is just to be a joyful, awesome person. And it's not to amass things, and it's not to pay bills, and it's not to be a good citizen. It's not any of those things. It's to be a beautiful, stunning, spectacular being of creation and joy. And the more you allow yourself to fall into alignment with those, all of those other things will fall apart, and you will really even more see the truth. But the first part of the journey is recognizing how out of balance everything is, how absolutely destructive everything is in your life.
Yeah, so much of what's causing so much suffering is, say, the negative aspects of social media, and people with money flaunt it and create these images so that they make all of us want it. Like, and
it's even
so
big in our industry.
Yeah,
the spiritual world is, you have to look and perceive a certain way to be considered this, and you have to, I don't know how many times my Facebook is flooded with how to get good coaching clients, blah blah blah, and I'm like, it makes me feel like shit because I'm not performing where I think I should, and I've got a really good balance to myself.
Yeah. And like, even, for me, some of the more spiritually empowering, inspiring people I met are not the ones that are outwardly spiritual. They're just those regular, common folks that are just doing the best they can to be as joyful and to do the best and to treat everyone with kindness and respect, And even in spirituality, I realize, yes, there are some that have crazy, awesome, amazing manifestation stories where they come into massive abundance, But also, like, sometimes spiritual aspects, principles also use sexuality images in order to promote. So it's the same capitalistic generating business about sharing spirituality. And therefore, what I have come to realize is so much of the Western spirituality
is bullshit.
Some of it is very surface. It's hard for me to be as harsh as my very really blunt wife, but
I'm really harsh on it because it's not doing a lot of service for a lot of people, because it makes other people feel like crap, and then you don't become secure in your spirituality because you think that it should look like a certain way, when all of this stuff is to find your way.
So this is all about, for me, just more and more, just, focus on taking good care of yourself. Like, learn to do the things that help you feel good and let go of any kind of judgments, comparisons. And if you're willing to do that, you'll start to come into your natural state of well-being and joy, and more.
I want to add one thing to that. It has to be done consistently. It cannot be done once a week. It cannot be done once a month. It has to be something that you make a daily practice. And it can be very small. I come from a Celtic background, and a cup of tea is how we solve everything. And that's, for my family, how we started a spiritual practice, was a cup of tea. And I know many of my sort of Irish English friends, that's how we sat around and we solved problems. That was our church. But having that cup of tea every day is what allows your body and your nervous system to calm down so you can breathe and think. And if you're developing an intuition, or really wanting to dive deep in that, you have got to find that liminal space, that space between, because that's when spirituality, and that's when everything calms down so you can really hear yourself. But it has to be a daily practice. I don't care what it is. I just really want to put that in there. Thank you.
Yeah. And for me, over the years, it's been just keep adding the good stuff. And over time now, I've developed a consistency with just really making sure I do good stuff every day. So really find your own way. Like, really do what works. Some may just be dancing silly. Some may be more structured. Like, it really depends on what your sign is, what your characteristics are, how you're built. Really just allow yourself to let go of the 1, 2, 3s and needing to adhere to any systems. Yes, try the systems out. Take what works for you. And then let go of all that is creating resistance from truly feeling and choosing freely joy and good experiences and connections.
A lot of this stuff is told that it should be hard. Human beings have this profound need to overcomplicate. We're going into a time period on both this planet and in our consciousness. Everything is about simplifying. We've overscheduled.
That's one of the main issues.
We have overscheduled ourselves to the point where nobody shows up for anything anymore, and especially yourself. It is an ongoing thing that I see, and I have done it myself. And it's broken me in many ways, where you cram your day with so many things that you think you need to get done that you fall apart. And that is another issue with anxiety and stuff. You're doing too much. You do not need to prove you are worthy of being here. If you're here, you're already fucking worthy. Gotta own that one. So you don't need to be doing a shit ton of stuff to prove to us anymore. What you need to do now is really look at simplifying. You don't need to buy as much as you do. You don't need to live in these giant houses unless you really want to experience it. And that's totally fine. I don't want to. I love a beautiful pair of shoes, but I only got 5 because I like really beautiful shoes. But, you know, there's that kind of thing, is really looking for the true beauty of things, not the glamour and glitz of things. And that requires simplifying as much as you possibly can.
Yep, there you go. So just try out a different rhythm. If something has been working, I've experimented. I know I can say it's well worth it. At the time, it's not easy to choose that, to move away from the crowd, be 1 out of 100 person, to walk to the other side of the street and walk in the other direction. But if you allow yourself to do that, boy, are you gonna gain a sense of connection to who you really are and the way you really want to walk your life and create your life. And through that, you're gonna gain a sense of resiliency and courage and equanimity and releasing all the tethers that are creating self-judgment and self-hate and self-denial from truly experiencing well-being and freedom. So yeah, just one step at a time, take it real easy and keep adding the good stuff and allow yourself to come into stillness and simplicity as more and more, just one layer at a time, 1% at a time. Just like that boat, you just have to steer a micro degree and it's going to change the whole trajectory, and you're going to gain momentum with each step and each effort you put into it. So there you go, folks. Thanks so much for joining us. Let us know if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to talk about. Have a beautiful day.
Bye.
Yeah. See you next time.